how did we do this? We didn't just sit in our non-office and our home office and make this up, right? You may remember a couple of months ago, we sent out a survey to all of our volunteers to get feedback about our programs, what was working, what wasn't working. And we've used this input from you guys to develop these goals and priorities that I will show you now for the coming years. Before we dive into it, I want to just make some terms that we will be using clear so that everyone understands what they mean. So if we look at the whole plan is like a roadmap, right? It's like a map that we follow to get to our destination. Our final destination is what we call our vision. It's like the dream of where we want to get to. It may take many, many years to get there, but we will get there eventually. Our mission is like the reason we are traveling. Why are we even on this journey? We have goals. Goals are like, in this scenario, they are the signposts along the side of the road. They guide us, they tell us that we're still moving in the correct direction, that we haven't gone off on a wild detour on our journey. Strategy is what kind of moves us further along the path, right? So strategy is almost kind of the road that we take to get to our destination. And finally, our values are kind of what we believe in. They sort of, you know, they define who we are. We can't go anywhere or do anything without our values. So in this scenario, I've sort of said the values are like, you know, the vehicle in which we travel on our journey. So to explain some of these terms, you may have seen this if you ever read our annual report. This is from our annual report. So our vision, which is the final destination, is a clean world, free from plastic pollution, all powered by volunteers. This is our big dream. Our mission is to put an end to single-use plastic and build consensus for zero waste and a circular economy. Our values, which you remember are the vehicle that we're driving in, these are our sort of core beliefs. It's, you know, why we exist in a way. I'm not going to go into these right now because they are so important that we're going to have our final session on our values after me. So just know that there are 5 core beliefs of what it means to be a trash hero when you put on this shirt. And now on to our goals. Again, these were the goals that the 3 priority areas that we saw from your feedback. So we looked through all of the comments. There were so many comments, and we saw these kind of 3 themes running through all of them that made sense, that we need to focus on these areas more, right? So the first one is strength. So we want to be a strong organization, which I hope we've really witnessed tonight. We are a strong organization, still with a family feeling that we have always had since the beginning. We have influence. So our goal should be to be seen and to be heard locally and on the global stage as well. And our third goal is change, which is obviously very important. We want to see we are making real progress towards zero waste. To go into these in a bit more detail now, our first goal of strength is obviously very important. I don't know if anyone wants to make comments on this. Why do you think a strong organization is important for us? What are the benefits of a strong organization? Does anyone want to chip in so it's not just me talking? Or you can also type comments in the chat. I can't actually see anyone, so maybe that's not going to work. I will answer my own question.
Yes, please do.
So, I mean, a strong organization will make everyone's work or your work more effective, right? Because somebody has your back. Trash Hero name, you have the support of Trash Hero. It also makes us as a network or an organization less likely to fall apart if we face any problems or any dramas. It makes the whole organization a lot more stable. And of course, you know, as we grow, as we get bigger, we get strength naturally through the number of people and the number of chapters that we have. But it's not just about numbers. Strength is not about numbers. It's about the relationship that we have with each other within the organization. It's about being connected with each other as a family, right? So even as we grow, we want to keep this, you know, the Trash Hero family feeling, because that really gives us a very unique position compared with a lot of other organizations that are big and anonymous and nobody knows each other, right? So this is really important for us. So what does a strong organization look like? Well, like I said, it's kind of a balancing act. So we need to have both consistency, which means we need to have quality standards and you know, a certain level of work throughout the network. So if you go to a cleanup in the Czech Republic, it should be pretty similar to a cleanup in Indonesia. I mean, it will be a lot colder, obviously, but the actual quality of the cleanup and your experience should be fairly similar. So there is a Trash Hero experience. But at the same time, we also want to allow for creativity so that in Bali or in, you know, Prague, they can also adapt Trash Hero activities to their local culture and context, because that makes their work more effective. So we need to balance those two in a strong organization. And it's the same with global needs and local needs. That's a very similar thing as well. A strong organization will have motivated volunteers, staff. We will have good connections, as I said, both within the organization, but also with other individuals, other NGOs, local government, who are part of our network, all working on the same issues. We'll be efficient, we will support each other, and we will receive support, both financial and other kinds of support at the local level as well. How do we get to be a strong organization? What practical things can we do to make sure we achieve this goal of strength? Some ideas that we had at the world level is that, you know, we would give our volunteers, give you more opportunities to learn or develop new skills, to connect with each other. That's what Roman was talking about with the monthly calls. So you will get to know each other better, learn from each other, and also develop other skills and knowledge in areas of zero waste. So one thing that we will do, and we will talk about again after this session, is that all of our standards and rules and all of this should be very, very clear to everyone in the organization, how they are linked to our values and what we believe in. So they're not just random things that we make up, but they actually have a meaning. Like all of the standards and rules that we have as an organization as we grow should be really rooted in our beliefs going forward. And of course, yes, as we all know, and Brent knows, we will stay open and transparent, and also report and celebrate our impact. This is also very important to a strong organization. Our second goal that I want to talk about is influence. And of course, this is also an important goal for Trash Hero, because, you know, the more we are visible, the more people will take us and take our message seriously. And being more visible means we're also reaching more people. And so again, what does this look like? How do we know we've achieved our goal of influence? Well, we would be famous. I mean, maybe not, A-list Hollywood famous, but we would be a well-known name, a well-known brand in the areas that we operate in. We would be diverse. This means we would be attracting people, volunteers, followers, supporters from a whole range of different ages, backgrounds, nationalities, because they give us these different perspectives, these different experiences to our message, but we're still speaking with one voice, right? So we still have this single message of stopping plastic pollution, but we have all of these range of voices that contribute to that, and that makes it more powerful. We would also be everywhere. Everywhere means, now we are very active in Southeast Asia and also in Europe, but why not on every continent, right? Let's expand in America and Australia and Africa. We should be everywhere. We should also be seen as reliable. That means we should be a reliable source of information about zero waste. We should be a reliable source of data for campaigners, for policymakers, like we just did now in the brand audit. So now we are seen globally as a credible source of data from cleanups, which is amazing, right? This is exactly where we want to be. How to get there, how to get more influence, what practical things can we do to make sure we achieve this? One very obvious thing is that we can push the impact of everything that we do. So whether that is, just a cleanup, yeah, you did a cleanup, you put that effort in to do your cleanup. You can share it on your Facebook, that's great. But you could also share it in your local Facebook groups. You could send it to a local newspaper. You could do all kinds of things with it, right? You put that effort in, you should be getting the maximum impact from your efforts. With every piece of work that you do, we can always just push it that little bit further. And that's the same with Trash Hero World. We're also doing that too. And the same, building a social media presence. One of the steps we're doing now in Trash Hero World, as Roman showed you, is we are investing in this now. We're going to have a full-time communications officer. Previously, it was just, the Trash Hero World team doing here and there, but we really need to focus on this now. This is big, we need to invest more resources into building our media presence. We also plan to offer more educational resources for you guys. So that's content, right? So whether it's infographics, fact sheets, little swipeable stories about zero waste and so on, this is all giving us more credibility as the go-to source of information about plastic pollution and zero waste. And again, on these monthly calls, we'll be giving you communication training, which means that, yes, we have a message, but it's not just about shouting it out, it's making sure that people are also listening, or they want to listen and they want to hear more. So we'll be doing this a little bit more on the calls as well. So hopefully this will also start to give you some ideas. It's not just, a corporate Trash Hero World thing. These are also ideas that you can use in your day-to-day running of your chapter, right? So that you can think about how you could have more influence locally and so on in your context. The last goal that we have identified is change. And of course, that is super important for Trash Hero because, it's part of our slogan, right? We clean, we educate, we change. Change is what shows us that we're making progress towards our vision of zero waste. the change can be in people's behavior and their attitudes. So, you know, their lifestyle, if they're taking, you know, more reusables and stuff like that, or it can be bigger changes in the system. So when we see, you know, businesses or governments start to change what they do with regard to waste. And how do we know that we've achieved this? What does it look like? Well, ideally, we would love to see more community projects, zero waste projects being started by Trash Hero chapters, or being helped to start by Trash Hero chapters, whether that is a, you know, it could be a waste bank, it could be, you know, just a zero waste event or a festival or something like that. The more we see these things happening, the more we know that change is coming. We would like all of you to be zero waste ambassadors, right? To have the knowledge, the skills, the confidence to be able to go and talk to people in your local municipality or wherever it is, you know, local business owners, the hotel association, about zero waste and what the real solutions are, not just, you know, doing the cleanups. On a wider level in society, we would like to see, obviously, zero waste becoming a normal way of being, or a normal solution for people. We'd like to see more zero waste businesses, you know, whether that's refill stores or whatever. Policy changes are another good indication of change, you know, whether that's a plastic bag ban or, you know, stuff like that at the local level. And in terms of practical things we can do to get there, now, I mean, this is probably the biggest goal or the biggest challenge that we have. So we need, you know, some big ideas. And the one that I'd like to present first is this new program that we have starting next year, which is called Trash Hero Communities. Now, some of you on the call, I think, were involved in our zero waste communities online training that we had this year and last year. And this is really building on that. This is kind of, we got a lot of good feedback from that, but we also realized that it's quite intense, it's quite heavy. There was a lot of study and homework involved. So we want to just make this whole concept a bit more accessible to everybody. So there will be no study. It's going to be informal learning. On these calls, we'll just discuss different zero waste topics and slowly build up your knowledge and skills so you become more able to take these ideas out into your communities. And in the same vein, we want to focus more on doing education at your cleanup. So it's amazing that so many people join our cleanups, but it's also really important that they leave the cleanups with an idea of what the bigger picture is. Like, why are we doing this? We're not just doing it to clean the beach. We're doing this to promote a much wider change. So we'll be focusing a little bit on how to talk to people at the cleanups as well. Another big change that we want to make is in countries where you have a bottle and bag program or a Trash Hero Kids program, is that we want to take the responsibility for those programs away from the local chapters and put it in the hands of the country coordinators or the national team. We got a lot of feedback that running a bottle program or running a kids program it's quite a lot of work. It can be challenging on many levels. It's difficult to go out and sell these things, especially now. There's a lot of admin, stock taking, reporting, and so on. So we thought, why not? It's actually going to be pretty easy for us to transfer all of that to a central administration. So the country coordinators will do the marketing, the stock taking, all of that stuff for you, so that frees up the chapter leaders to focus more on their cleanups and on the community stuff. So that's one change we're going to make. Obviously, if you do have a successful Bottle of Kids program and you want to keep doing that, please go ahead. That's fine. This is more for the chapters that are struggling with doing those things. And finally, for change, yes, we will also be seeking out more positive stories of real solutions, working in local areas and exposing the greenwashing, and we will be doing more publicity for that as well. Okay, so that is it. That was, thank you for sitting through. That was a quick rush through the document.